Alright, what is up guys, it is Storm back here with another video, and in this one, I am bringing you part 22 to Mightless, a My Hero Academia story by the Mysterious Banana. Now, if you want to check this story out for yourself, the link to it will be down in the description below. But before that, if you like the content you're seeing, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I mean, they're all free, so why not? If you want some dope channel merch, the link to that will be down in the description below. And if you want to see more of me, go check out my other channels and go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, which will all be linked down below. But without further ado, why don't we just dive right on in. The news conference showed up as most of Class A was informed of Endeavor's mysterious outburst that nearly killed the student, going as far as to putting the sports festival on 1-hour hold. Cameras flashed in the flame-bearded hero's face, with news reporters bombarding him with so many questions that he couldn't answer, even if he wanted to. Back in the infirmary, Izuku was lying in his bed, clutching his plastered arm, with bandages going all the way up to his cheek. According to Recovery Girl, she can heal the wound, but it is preferable for him to sit out of the fight. With obvious reasons, he refused. He was within reach of permanently breaking the number 2 hero, whose reputation had already taken a bad hit. Turning to his right, he could hear the bumbling sound of students at the infirmary door, all wanting to see him. The usual visits are limited to 5 people at max, but over 50 showed up. Some worried, others pissed off that he was getting attention. Others wanted to know the full story of how he pissed off Endeavor to the point where he nearly got killed by him. The nurse showed up, asking who he would like to see. Shoto. Let me see Shoto, Todoroki, and no one else, Izuku replied. Minutes passed, and the young white-haired lad walked in to see his bedridden opponent. You wanted to see me, Izuku? Asked the cold-hearted student. I wanted to know more about you, Todoroki, Izuku replied, patting an empty spot off his bed, offering him a seat. The boy sat near the burn victim, carefully examining his arm. My dad did this to you? He asked. Yeah, not surprising either. Dude's got a huge temper and is merciless too. You present him a hostage situation, he'll probably burn the target, the hostage, and even a bus full of children that just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, Izuku said with a joking attitude. Todoroki's face remained like stone, unfazed by Izuku's optimistic attitude. Why did he do it? He's usually unfazed by what ordinary people say to him, he asked again. Never underestimate the power of words, Todoroki. Which actually brings me to my question. What did Endeavor do to you? Asked Izuku. Izuku suddenly felt the tension rise in the room. He could see Todoroki twitching as he tightly gripped the bed as if he was having Vietnam flashbacks. Izuku was about to snap him out of his trance until the boy spoke up. I never met either of my brothers. They were failures. Forget about them. My dad always said, he started. Did he hurt you? Izuku asked. Todoroki flinched at the subject. The way he reacted to his question answered everything. I know, it's ludicrous, right? Have you ever wondered why someone so evil can remain a hero? Much less have kids? Izuku said. But that only seemed to upset Todoroki even more. My mother had mentally snapped. She was my only safe haven from my abusive father, and had burned my face with scalding water. She now stays bedridden, a husk of her former self. She's gone. My only sunshine is gone. Broken by the very man this society dares to call a hero. Todoroki anger. Izuku listened carefully to every word, and grinned. He's losing faith in heroes, just as planned. Now, just one final push, thought Izuku, as he spoke up. I too was hurt in the past. You see, my quirk developed late, and only under extreme circumstances, so for a huge chunk of my life, I thought I was quirkless. If you think working to be the strongest is hard, try starting out the weakest. I was beaten every day, had my dreams laughed at, and was spat on in the face several times. Then the day came when I met a certain hero. I asked him if someone who was quirkless could become a hero, and you know what he said? What? Todoroki replied. Sorry kid, you can't, Izuku said. No sugarcoating, no encouraging speech, just a big, fat no. Couldn't have. Heroes are meant to inspire, not deny. Todoroki complied in disbelief. Inspire those that have quirks, Todoroki. It was in fact at that point where even the people I looked up to turned their backs on me that I had developed my quirk. In fact, had it not been the fact that my quirk activated the second I actually jumped off a building, I'd be dead. And driving a kid to suicide would have been on that hero's resume. Todoroki clenched the sheet of the bed after hearing that. It must have been rough, huh? Asked Todoroki. Hey, don't feel sorry for me. I'm supposed to do that for you. We're both victims of the true nature of heroes, aren't we? Izuku continued. That's my reason for coming here. I was hoping that, through the power of words, not quirk, I can bring the world to a new light, where no one would have quirks be their defining feature, where the quirkless can be just as useful as the quirked. You are a prime example of victims of heroes. Together, we can bring down this corrupt establishment and reconstruct a better world. What do you say? Todoroki sighed. I refuse. Izuku froze. What? I said I refuse. Listen, Izuku. Although I detest my father with every fiber of my being, not all heroes are alike. I will become the top-ranked hero without the use of my father's quirk, to show him he played no impact on my life. And I have no plans to change that goal. My father may hate All Might, but he's in fact my role model. I don't know what you truly are after, but I hope you the best of luck, Izuku. Get better soon, he finished, leaving the room. Izuku looked at the door where he left in shock, muttering to himself. I see. It's still too early. Fine. I'll just have to wait it out, and show him the true natures of heroes. Izuku said to himself. I'll take this time to heal up, and then crush that ice boy. Hours passed, and the 16-man tournament had started. Prior to this tournament, Izuku had just gotten a call from the league, claiming that the raid was a smashing success, and now they were heading back with the hero data files. Izuku smiled at their subordinate success, now praying mentally that they can yield the same results. As the students came through the door, the sounds of cheering doubled at the arrival of Izuku, who had just recovered from his burn. Alright, now that everyone's here, we'll decide the matchup by drawing lots, starting with the first. Hold on, I'd like to drop out, Ojiro suddenly announced, butting off Midnight. The crowd fell into shock. Why, Ojiro? Isn't this your chance to get recognized? Some of the people asked. I know, but I can't remember a thing during the cavalry match. It just feels like cheating to have this position literally given to you, while everyone else attained it using their own strength, Ojiro explained. Ojiro had Aoyama and Nirengeki in his team, which means the culprit must be... Izuku analyzed. Shinso. I'd like to drop out too, Nirengeki suddenly announced. Yup, definitely Shinso, Izuku declared. Midnight gave out a sadistic grin. Alright then, since 2 members dropped out, we'll have the 5th place team member Tetsu and Shiozaki fill in the gaps, she announced. As the matchups were made, Izuku felt a menacing presence behind him. Midoriya, that's you, right? Asked a baggy-eyed, purple-haired kid. Before Izuku could answer, Ojiro pulled his tail over Izuku's mouth. Izuku, whatever you do, don't answer that guy. During the recreational event at the lounge. A brainwashing quirk? Izuku asked. Yeah, my mind went blank and my body was moving to his command the second I responded to him, Ojiro said. So, all I need to do is stay silent when he talks, Izuku said to himself. That's not all. Towards the end of the cavalry match, I ran into, Tetsu's formation and was snapped back into reality, Ojiro replied. So I guess your best bet, given your wind quirk, is to blow him off the stage with a huge gust. Izuku thought for a moment. No, I think there is another way around this, he mumbled. Really? Asked Ojiro. I'm not 100% sure if it works yet. You see, my quirk functions by absorbing the oxygen in the atmosphere, usually by breathing, then amplifying its power when I exhale, hence creating tornadoes. I can also freely manipulate any form of air I exhale for a brief period of time. The smaller the amount of air, the better, Izuku explained. What are you implying? Ojiro asked. Izuku grinned. Well, I'm glad you asked. Hey, are you guys ready? Yelled the announcer, aka Present Mike. It's time for the one-on-one tournament. The first 2 fighters stepped out of the arena. The first match is coming underway. From the hero course, giving us surprise after surprise and even surviving an attack from the number 2 hero only 2 hours prior. It's Izuku Midoriya. The crowd cheered in excitement. Back home, the neighborhood where Izuku lived had several reports of a low-level flood. Little did the neighborhood know, the liquid that formed the giant 2-inch deep puddle wasn't water, but tears. Tears coming from a very, very proud mother. "Izuku, you always wanted this, didn't you?" Inko cried tears of joy, as her entire house, all the way up to her waist, was filled with her tears. And from the general department, the kid who has done nothing to stand out but somehow always comes out on top, Shinso. The two contestants met up face to face at the center as the announcer continued to explain the rules. Of course, going for the kill is prohibited, and any contestant that does so will be immediately disqualified, explained President Mike. "I give up." Huh? Get it, Midoriya? This battle is truly a test of will, Shinso taunted Izuku. If you've got any kind of vision for your future here, there's no sense in worrying about how you get here. Izuku remembered Ojiro's suggestion. Luckily, in terms of insults and taunts, he's had half his current worth of training to resist verbal abuse, coming from classmates to heroes alike, so Shinso's tactics were ineffective. Instead, he slowly exhaled. "Begin!" announced President Mike in the background, while Shinso whispered. "Like a monkey babbling about his pride," Shinso continued. What kind of idiot would throw away a... Suddenly, before Shinso could finish his sentence, something felt wrong. He was already out of breath. Trying to inhale, he found himself unable to. Suddenly, with a satisfied grin, Izuku spoke. "Throw what away? Something wrong? Having breathing problems?" asked Izuku. "What's going on? Why can't I inhale? Any air that enters my lungs feel wrong. I can't." Shinso's thoughts as his head was going hazy. Whoa, what do we have here?" President Mike exclaimed. It almost seemed like Shinso was about to pass out. "The announcer's right, you know. You do look pretty terrible," Izuku said. Inhaling a huge amount of air, Shinso dropped to one knee. "Maybe you should get some fresh air." Suddenly, a powerful gust similar to a Category 3 tornado blasted across the battlefield, sending the suffocating hypnotist flying off the stage. Wow, that actually worked. With practice, maybe I can turn that into a special move. Flashback, back in the waiting room. So here's my idea. Shinso needs oxygen to talk, right? What if I use that to my advantage and cut off his oxygen supply? Izuku asked. How are you going to do that? Isn't your quirk to control and amplify the air you exhale? Asked Ojiro, confused. You clearly haven't learned basic science, Ojiro. Keep in mind, the air I fire is just my breath. Remember, humans are the opposite of plants when it comes to breathing. Plants inhale CO2, or carbon dioxide, and expel O2, which is basically our breathable oxygen. But us humans do the reverse. We inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, Ojiro finished. Exactly, Izuku ended. So your wind is actually composed of carbon dioxide? Ojiro asked. Exactly. I'm currently thinking of making a move where I create a ball of carbon dioxide and discreetly launch it at my opponents, surrounding his head in a ball of CO2. People won't be able to breathe unless they can outrun the ball, and judging by Shinso's physique, he's not going anywhere, Izuku finished. How many times have you tried this? Asked Ojiro. Never. This will be my first time. Izuku remembered. As the flashback ended, Ojiro, sitting in the bleachers, clapped his hands, seeing his classmate emerge victorious. Shinso is out of the ring, Midnight announced. Midoriya moves on to the second round. Midoriya runs over to the lightly injured student, picking him up off the floor. The teen, however, slapped his hand aside in an aggressive manner. I don't need your courtesy. I can handle myself, he said in a dejected tone before walking off. Izuku, despite all that's happened and all the heroes he killed without a second thought, however, couldn't help but feel a little bad. Even before entering Yuuei, he knew some students were here for good reasons, and that only reinforced his hatred towards heroes. The last thing he wanted was for the industry to get to these poor saplings, burning with potential, once more only looking for fame and blindly turning their eyes on the ones who truly need saving. And now, a kid with a dream that was seemingly broken stood in front of him. Hey, Izuku called out. You did amazing too, Shinso. For a moment there, I had to actually bite my tongue to prevent myself from talking. Don't lose hope, okay? Shinso, on the other hand, smiled back. Who said I was giving up? He responded with a determined look. I'll become a hero. This failure won't stop me, but hey, you're not that bad yourself. So unless you get your ass handed to you, I'm fine with being defeated at your hands. With that, Shinso walked off. The next match was Todoroki versus Sero. Before the match started, however, while Todoroki was heading to the stadium, You met face to face with the man he could only force himself to call Dad. Only this time around, he didn't look as pissed off as he should have. Todoroki clenched his fist when he walked by him, expecting his father to yell at him for struggling so much in the 2 previous events. Rage boiled up in his body as he could easily read his father's lips. "You still have the guts to show up here even after burning one of my classmates?" he thought, as the flame hero opened his mouth to speak. "Can it, Dad? I know what you're gonna say. Use your damn quirk, Shoto. Stop rebelling, Shoto. Your mom didn't hospitalize herself for a disappointment like you, Shoto. I don't give a crap about surpassing All Mights. And even if I was, it won't be for you," he said, speeding past his father before he could even say a word. "I'll win using Mom's powers alone. I'll never stoop to your level." As Todoroki sped past Endeavor, the flame hero tried to clench his fist, but his hand only briefly formed a fist before calming back down. All I wanted to say was, "Good luck, son." Yeah, you didn't even give me a chance, Shoto. Have I really been that bad of a father? Back out in the stadium, the announcer started the second battle. "I don't really feel like winning," said Sero in a lazy fashion. Suddenly, tape shot out of his elbows, as he wrapped up Todoroki and sent him flying towards the edge. "But I don't feel like losing either." Suddenly, Todoroki's eyes ignited with murderous intent, as in a fraction of a second, a giant glacier formed over the stadium, completely encasing Sero. The whole crowd was rendered speechless, and even Izuku's jaws had dropped. That's a little overkill, no?" asked Sero. "Sero, can you move?" asked Midnight, also half frozen. "Hell no." "Well, that settles it. Shoto Todoroki moves on to their next match." Before leaving, Shoto looked at Izuku with a murderous glare. As Izuku looked back, "I hope you're ready, Endeavor. Once we fight, I'll expose your true nature, even if it means hospitalizing your son," Izuku thought.
愛してる。